I'm here with Stephen Howson, right outside Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Liverpool 1. Steve, how you feeling after that?
I guess you take it, don't you? We all took it, I think, before the game. I think the circumstances of the way the game played out, you kind of go, did we let ourselves down a little bit in the end with that, with some defending? It doesn't quite feel... It feels better if you snatch a point, doesn't it, rather than...
Like that'll feel like a win for them today.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
How are you feeling after that, though? Because second half, I'm not going to talk about the first half too much because I kind of feel, I don't know, you agree that you got it tactically right?
Yeah, I thought there were opportunities, and I said to Joe, who stands next to us, that's the quality of Liverpool, is that they ridden out our period of dominance and dealt with it and took the sting out of it and then started playing their game. They're just better than us at the moment, and the only way we was going to win was going to be a smash and grab, bit of a stuffy kind of fluky win, rather than like we was going to play them off the park and we was going to have chance after chance after chance and score 2 or 3 and keep them nilled. That was never going to happen today. It was always going to be a smash and grab. It was always going to be something fluky. It was always going to be what it almost ended up being, to be honest. And there's no shame in that. The reality of where we are as a club is that we are not as good as them or as good as City, or arguably as good as a couple of others that are ahead of us either. But what we did was we shown tactical flexibility by throwing in a new formation and actually mixing it up. And Liverpool have done all right against back threes in the past, so what we did was keep it real tight. We limited their chances. They didn't really have any major chances where you're like, fucking hell, De Gea's kept us in that. And it looked like if we'd have had a better midfield, and this isn't a slight on any of the lads that played today either, because they all played really well. I thought Fred had one of his best games in the United shirt. A lot of people praising Pereira, which I tend to agree with. He didn't really have that fucking horrendous decision-making game that he tends to have.
The one thing you get from him is his battles. He tries to get involved.
He tries things which sometimes don't come off, and he looks silly when they don't.
He was my man of the match.
I'd have thrown McTominay in the mix, to be honest.
McTominay played very well. I think he kept it very simple in there. Like, we had to have someone doing that because obviously because it started off weird. Rashford was out wide, Danny James through the middle, Pereira out wide, and there was sometimes changing, sometimes it was Pereira.
I thought it was always the two up front with Pereira through the middle, and I thought Rashford and James was changing sides just to keep it fresh and try and find holes in Liverpool's defence. I just thought what we had was a very functional midfield without, I think Pereira probably wants to be and thinks he is the player that's got that killer ball in him, but realistically we couldn't even get him on the ball deep enough. This is where Pogba excels. You look at Marcus's goal at Wembley against Spurs. We had nobody in the team that was doing that today, and that is why we would have hurt Liverpool. We could always defend and we can always defend deep, and that defence is starting to look like a decent defence.
Are you saying we missed Paul Pogba?
Not necessarily. I'm saying we miss a player with that range of ability. And
we miss a lot of creativity when he doesn't play, and it's like it shows the lack of depth we have, and also the lack of quality. Like, because I think we'll say James played well today, Pereira played well today, but we still had a serious lack of quality out there, and I think it's just how good they are.
I think that the result in the end was down to that lack of extra we can bring on. I know people are going to say they brought Marshall on too late. Well, maybe Marshall only had 10 minutes in him, and maybe they knew that. Maybe that's why he was warming him up for so long. He was realistically the only sub you can bring on. You're not going to bring on Juan Mata to change a game, or I hope you're not going to try and bring Juan Mata on to change the game.
Could keep possession.
No. Can you bring Mason Greenwood on? I mean, yeah, you can, but are we really relying on an 18-year-old again to win us a game? Shouldn't be that. We should have other quality in there. They made 3 subs before we made our first one because they had 3 players they could bring on.
It was weird. It was weird when 5 minutes went up, wasn't it? That everything just stayed quiet in the ground. Not quiet because it was a good atmosphere today, but everyone went really edgy when they scored. And usually when you see 5 minutes going up, it's level, the crowd gets up, but we were all nervous and we all felt...
Because the tide had shifted. We had a tired squad out there which doesn't have the quality, and ultimately cream does rise to the top. And do you like when United was on top and it wasn't that we drew games, we just ran out of time? Well, Liverpool are in that phase at the minute where they would probably beat us given enough time.
They would have beat us with another 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. So I think it was just going to be one of them, that the longer the game went on, we had to do what we did and keep them shut out and try and smash that win or try and get a second goal. And we might have had half a chance. But at 1-0, it's dangerous anyway, and it's dangerous against a team that, as much as it hurts to say, is as good as they are. So look, I don't think no one's going to celebrate a draw, I hope. because you shouldn't ever.
Are there more positives than negatives though?
Positives that the lads actually put a good shift in for once, because against Newcastle we just didn't, and it looked like we give a shit because against Newcastle we just didn't, and it's not the first time. But it also highlights the things that we already knew were there. This squad lacks depth. This squad lacks quality. That's not changed. That's not going to change until January, and might not even change in January.
Does this alleviate the pressure on Oli? Intensify it? Does it not change?
Fuck knows. I don't really know what the fucking internet fans are going to do from 1 minute to the next. So who gives a fuck?
And who's your man of the match today?
I think Scott McTominay. Like you said, he kept it simple. He did, but he was everywhere. And like I said, the most impressive thing about Scott McTominay at the moment is his decision making. He does the right thing at the right time, and there's not enough players doing that for us. So props to Scott McTominay for that.
Cheers, Stephen Howson. I appreciate your time. Nat, see you in a bit. You wanted to say something as well. We'll get you in on the end of this one. How are you feeling?
You know what? If we had taken 1-1, you know, if you'd given us 1-1 at the start, I would have been happy. I thought Daniel James really stood out, really shone. You know, it was all from him, that first goal, and he was just pressing. He's a United, you know, through and through, United player, that's what you want to see. I just want to say, you know, great atmosphere in there today. You could tell that they really got behind the boys. Even when we went 1-1, really still behind the boys. That's what you want to see. Football, atmosphere. You know, I was at the girls today. I want people to check out them videos.
You win today?
Won today, 2-0, fantastic.
Do some fan cams?
I did some fan cams, so I'm going to check them out. But Lee want to shut us down, shut down an atmosphere. We want an atmosphere like that in Lee. Lee Sports Village don't want it, so everyone get onto United, tell them you want a good atmosphere. You know?
So hold on. Lee Sports Village aren't letting
Us,
Barmy
aren't letting Barmy Army, aren't letting us stand, aren't letting us sing.
They're not letting you in?
They're not letting us in, but they're not letting us stand up, they're not letting us sing, they're not letting us get behind the girls the way we used to. So
Sort it out, Lee Sports Village. It's the only time you're selling any tickets, for God's sake.
4,000 people there as well today, it's fantastic. Sell out here as well. Oh, you know, United, it's...
Shame the men's team.
Yeah, it's a shame the men's team shit. But you know, it's going a bit like the 80s in that we'll play and we won't play. And I just think, give Ollie time. You know, he knows what he's doing. Give him the players. It's going to come good.
It is a bit like the 80s.
Yeah.
Everyone's being racist again.
No.
United are shit.
Yeah.
The good old days are back.
Good old days, good old
Brexit
days.
means Brexit now. Nice one. See you later.